If you're exploring a long-term future in Canada, whether through study, work, or permanent residency, healthcare is one of the most important sectors to understand in 2026. And I'm not saying that because it sounds good. I'm saying that because the data, the policy direction, and the labor forecast all point the same way. So let's slow this down and talk about it properly. Not hype, not shortcuts, just a clear understanding of how the system actually works. Canada's healthcare shortage isn't temporary, structural. The population is aging faster than ever before. The fastest growing age group in the country is 85 and older. Chronic illnesses and long-term care needs are far higher than they were a decade ago. And at the same time, a large portion of Canada's healthcare workforce is retiring, a trend that will continue for years. That combination changes everything, and that's why healthcare keeps appearing in provincial labor forecasts, why it keeps showing up repeatedly in federal category-based selection, why it's part of immigration reform discussions, why funding continues to expand into community care and hospital staffing. This isn't a trend that fades. It's a long-term reality Canada is planning around. Now here's something important, and this is where being realistic actually creates value. Not every healthcare role is treated the same. Canada doesn't need every healthcare job equally. Some roles are consistently prioritized, some appear occasionally, and some don't appear at all. That's not negative, but because the roles that are targeted tend to stay targeted. They don't disappear because of an election, they don't vanish when the economy shifts. They remain part of the system because the need doesn't go away. This is why healthcare pathways can be so powerful when the alignment is right. And the good news is, this isn't guesswork. You don't need to rely on rumors. You don't need to follow online noise. Canada's own data shows where the long-term demand is. That's the level of understanding most people never get from surface level immigration content. Now let's talk about study, because this part is often misunderstood. Yes, Canada has a national study permit cap, and no healthcare programs are not automatically exempt. The cap works differently by province. Institutions have different allocations, and program level matters far more than it used to. But here's the balanced truth. Healthcare aligned education still has strength in the system. Graduate level programs at public universities often remain accessible. Certain public colleges, healthcare programs continue to receive priority because provinces want graduates moving into real shortages. And healthcare education remains politically supported because it leads directly to labor outcomes Canada actually needs. None of this is automatic, and that's important to understand. The value comes from informed choices, not random ones. When it comes to work, healthcare stands out even more. Unlike many industries where hiring rises and falls with the economy, healthcare demand is steady, is documented, is long-term, exists across regions, and is largely insulated from economic downturns. People always need care, hospitals always need staff, communities always need support. That kind of stability is rare, and when immigration officers assess long-term contribution, they look closely at labor shortages. Healthcare consistently ranks near the top. This is one of the few sectors where labor need, public policy, and immigration pathways generally overlap. That's why it carries weight. Now here's the part people misunderstand the most. Permanent residency through healthcare isn't about simply being in healthcare. It's about being in a role that fits current federal or provincial priorities. When your role aligns with shortage lists, with category-based healthcare draws, with employer demand, and with regional population needs, your strategy becomes clear and more predictable than in most other sectors. Not guaranteed, but clear. That clarity alone puts you ahead of most applicants. And this leads to the real advantage of healthcare pathways. It's not assumptions, it's alignment. Understanding which roles are targeted, which education levels still make sense under the cap, which provinces still have sustained shortages, which institutions still have room. and which healthcare areas actually carry PR's traction. That's the difference between moving forward confidently and feeling stuck for years without knowing why. And this is where a consultation genuinely adds value, not because accurate information shapes the next 10 years of your life. Healthcare isn't a shortcut, it isn't automatic, and it isn't in demand everywhere. It is a strategic pathway supported by real labor data and real policy planning. If you want to explore whether healthcare aligns with your background, your goals, and a real Canadian demand, the smartest move is to get clarity before choosing a direction. Use the link below and book your consultation. We'll look at your background, we'll look at which healthcare areas are actually targeted, we'll look at the 2026 environment for healthcare and study, and we'll map out a pathway that fits what Canada genuinely needs now and in the years ahead. If you're looking for an education-based, data-informed immigration strategy, this is where it starts.